Hey guys, I had this really amazing vision last night. I was feeling really down and I did not want to see any visions. So I was kind of purposely not going to him, and then I sensed him kneeling, kind of kneeling down, looking at me with, his bright eyes, his happy eyes, but just kind of looking at me like, are you okay? And I just conveyed to him, I was like, I can't handle it. I just can't handle it. Please, I can't handle it. I can't handle this life. I can't handle what's happening. I can't handle the visions. I can't handle anything. I can't handle this whole world right now. I cannot handle it, and I'm going to lose it. And he just gave me this big hug. And then, I asked him, and I've never asked him this before, and I don't know why, but I just said to him, I conveyed to him mentally that I didn't understand. I was like, who are you? How is it possible for you to be Jesus, the person that was crucified 2,000 years ago? How could you be that same person? I mean, how is it that you were there then and you're here now? And I just don't understand it. I mean, how is it possible? And when I asked him that, his eyes lit up like he was so happy that I asked him that question, and somehow that gave him the opportunity to answer me. And so the first thing he did was he rolled up his sleeves, and the first thing I noticed was that his sleeves were white, and I had never noticed that before, except for one other time in a recent vision, right after that last vision that I had where he showed me the 1 and the 5 and then the plate moving around the Oklahoma area and then all that. When he showed me that, right after that, he was pointing to the New Madrid area and he had a white robe on. And then, and he's never had that before, that white glowing robe. And that made me think, oh wow, maybe it's really soon, because he's always been so down to earth. But now lately in these recent visions, he's wearing a white glowing robe. So that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, oh, he's wearing that white glowing robe again. And so he rolls up his sleeves, and I see all these long cuts on his arm that go from his wrist all the way up to his shoulder, these long cuts. And then he showed me his right shoulder, and there was a wound there, I think it was. And then on his left shoulder, another wound, which was odd to me because I had never heard anything about that. And he showed me last year in 2011, he showed me wounds on his palms as well. And so, I don't know, it just made me think, okay, well, but I still don't understand, because how were you there then and here now? And then he was just so happy that I was asking him that question, and he grabbed me and we shot up into the sky, and we went up into this, off the planet, into this room. And on the other side of the room, there was this big window. And the window kind of curved at the top up here where the ceiling was. So the ceiling curved into the wall, and the window curved as well. And out here was space, and I had the sense the earth was down below somewhere. And we went over to the window, and I was looking out the window for a little bit, and I saw this thing floating out in space some distance away that looked like that, and it was curved. And he showed me shaking, and I don't know what that means. But it was a technological device of some kind. And then further on out, beyond that, I saw this white star thing. Small, it seemed small, but it went shooting down toward the earth. And then that was all I saw. And then I went over, and then I turned over and I looked in this direction over here. And there was this, on the wall next to this window was this big thing that The only thing I can compare it to is a big flat screen TV, but it wasn't a TV. I don't know what it was, but it seemed like there was all these multicolored lights or something on it, but I don't really know. And I faced in this direction, and I looked over in this direction over here, and what I saw was there was the big screen on the wall up here, and this screen went down like that, and then it seemed like it looped into this huge spiral, which I couldn't quite understand that, but it definitely went down. And then there was another floor underneath us down here, and there was an opening here, and there were steps going down. So I went over to this opening and I stepped down into it, and as soon as I stepped into it, I was in a grassy meadow. I was just in this big grassy meadow. It's like I was on the earth. And as soon as that happened, the understanding that came to me was that he literally went from this room into Judea, like 2,000 years ago. Like, from what I gathered, from my understanding, this thing that he showed me is a time machine or something. I mean, he didn't say that, he doesn't speak to me, but that was what I gathered from it, was whatever it was some kind of technological thing I've never seen before in my life, in a movie or otherwise, never seen anything like this. And as soon as he stepped down into it, he was in you go into this grassy meadow. So from what I understood was that he was so excited that I'd asked that question, how it was possible for him to be there and here. And he's so excited he could answer it. And he went over and he showed me this straight away, this thing, that you step down into it and you're there. So to me, the only way I can understand it, and this may not be the full truth of it, but the only way I can understand it is that it's some kind of time machine. Okay, so then we were standing over here and he got really excited. All of a sudden he just got so excited, like, oh, they're here. And I looked over and I saw this huge ball of light that came out of this room that was down in here, that you took these steps down into this other room, and I saw this huge ball of multicolored light. And so he went down into this room, and I'll just show you. Here's the steps right here. And here is the room. And I'll try to show you from the side here. So there was this big, huge ball of light that was huge, that was all these different colors. But then that's where he ran down here, and then that huge ball of light got smaller and smaller and smaller, and then it ended up being a small ball of white glowing light. And he was standing over here. Let me just show you the floor. Okay, so here's the floor. And he was standing over here, and he was greeting people. This is not to scale, by the way, because this thing was huge. I'm not doing this well at all. I mean, let me redraw this. I'm sorry, because it's just not right. Because it was huge, and this ball of light was, it was big. It was more like, it was larger than that. Okay, it was even larger than that. But anyway, he's standing over here, and then there was a wall here, and a wall here. And out of this, and I went down, and here was the upstairs, where the screen was, and then the window was on this side over here, okay? So you can get perspective. So he ran down here. Oh, sorry. He ran down. Shoot. Sorry about that. This thing is... Okay, so he ran down here, and then I went after him, and I stood over here, and I looked, and there were all these people coming out of this white ball. and I was trying to understand it because there was this wall over here and I couldn't understand, because when I looked into this white thing, it looked like it went on forever because there was so many people coming out of this thing, and I couldn't understand how there were so many people when there was this wall right here. So that was kind of bizarre. And they were running out and running up to him and hugging him, and I just saw his face, and his face was like a reflection of their faces in a way, because he just looked so surprised, like, oh, it's you, and then just ran up, and they were all running up and hugging him, and they were happy. And then after they all came out of this thing, something was fastened up here. Up here there was something fastened. Okay, and then there were these catwalks that went up on either side. I don't think they were on this side, but they were on this side, going upward, and then on this side as well, going up. And I went here first to these catwalks up here, and they were looking down at this white ball as people were coming out of it, and he was there greeting them. And I saw all these different people. I saw these two people standing right here, and one of them was just screaming and in such excitement and just boiling over with excitement. And then the person next to them was crying, and then there was somebody over here that just had no expression at all on their face, and they were just looking at this white ball like just in shock, I guess, just no expression, nothing. And then I saw some people over here that were looking at this wall over here, and they were pointing at stuff, and they were trying to understand what it was. And the one thing that I gathered from all of the people that were there is that they were all different races, all different cultures, and all different personalities. So it was a wide diversity of people. But the one thing that they all had in common, literally the one thing they all had in common, was that they all knew him, they all loved him, and they all trusted him. And that was the one thing they had in common. And there's a whole psychology behind that I've learned as well. But I saw this face of this person who had a scowl on their face, like they didn't trust the whole situation. And I saw that person was not actually here. They were down on the earth. And what I got this understanding that he brought these people up because they trust him and love him. But he didn't do that for him. He did that for them. So that even the people that did not come up here, he left them on the earth because that's where they feel most comfortable. You see what I'm saying? So that it's not about these people are here because, they're my special clique. It's nothing like that. It's all of it is love for everyone, even the people still left on the earth, because there are some people who do not trust him, and the fact that they don't trust him, if they had been here, if he brought them here, they would be miserable. Okay, and that was the whole reason why they didn't come here. They're staying on the earth just because that's where they want to be. I'm running out of time, but we then went into this other room where there was a garden, and there was this ceiling where you could see the stars. It was really pretty. And then we stayed in there for quite a while in the garden room, and then there was this door that went into this other room, this huge round room, and it looked like a village, like a small village. And it was just really, really cool. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. A lot of it I don't understand, but I just hope it's soon. I never get to know when, But I just hope it's soon. And it seems like since he started wearing the white robe and he never did before, I'm hoping that that means it's soon. Okay, bye.